Oh, wait. Here we go.
It's time for
Roddy boy! Josh! Welcome to episode 106 of the Murder Moose podcast, part of the Slashcast podcast network.
It's in the game.
Yay! Today, we're joined again. Look at, I can point in the right direction, Rod. Continue. Back.
Hi.
Is she just, are you just like part of the show now? You're the third member of Murder Moose now?
That's fine with me. I'm good. Whatever.
Basically, it's like unofficially official.
I'll just fill in whenever you need people.
I love it.
But thank you for having me again.
You're always welcome. You know this, friend. You are wonderful, and we love you.
Oh, thanks. I love you guys too. Hey, happy early birthday, Josh. I know that this will be out after your birthday, but happy early birthday.
Yeah, today actually is Canadian Thanksgiving. So it's Thanksgiving today. I had the day off, and tomorrow is my birthday. So I'm working from home because I was like, "Do you need me? No, you don't need me to come in. I'm gonna be in my comfort zone. I'm gonna do my thing from home. Birthday time."
So
Birthday!
Josh is working in his birthday suit because it's his
As he
birthday,
should.
and he's just gonna hang that dong out. He's gonna hang that dong out. He's been inspired by his good friend Rod Johnston, who hangs his dong out wherever he wants because that's what friends do.
I don't know. I accidentally went live today. We're stupidly live right now. No one's gonna come and see it, but it's just this stupid thing that I'm doing now because I hit record, but the button above it is live, and I was playing my drums and I was just recording clips, and all of a sudden someone was talking to me, and I was like, "What? Who is this?" I don't go live.
Josh, you silly bitch. You don't go live to the point that you yelled at me for being subbed to you still. You were like, Rod, stop that.
Mhm.
And yeah. Well, because it is fair because basically if you don't hit the payout threshold, you're just giving Twitch money.
Yes, exactly. And don't do that.
Which they need their money because there might be lawsuits in the near future.
I kind of wonder if they're going to sue Twitch. Well, I mean, I'm sure everybody's sue happy, but I think Lenovo might be catching the brunt of that.
So if you guys don't know what we're talking about, TwitchCon was over the weekend and they had this foam pit
At the Lenovo station, because there was another one at another station.
Yeah, and this girl literally jumped off and like broke her back in 2 spots.
She has to have a rod put in. Oh, rod, you have to be put in. But they were telling people that they could dive headfirst into this foam pit. They were telling all this stuff. Somebody broke their leg, another person broke their ankle, and then there were a couple others. The other foam pit did fine because they followed the regulations and the guidelines. This one only had like 2 feet of the foam and 1 thin pad on the ground. So they were basically jumping directly onto cement.
And these people were not like going in like professional wrestlers who like, know how to fall. They weren't expecting to know how to fall. Yeah, it fucked people up, man. And it's
what the hell is wrong with them?
Dude, and
like seriously.
It makes me mad because people then like, all people are like, well, she was a porn star. And it's like, what is her being a porn star and being a former porn star? And like, she's a content creator who streams.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, well, because assholes get a chance to be an asshole and they take that fucking opportunity to be assholes. So like the esports boys, some fucking organization was making an ass out of themselves doing this shit. And it's just like, not the industrial fucking multi-million-dollar corporation that done fucked up real bad by trying to save a couple bucks.
Mm-hmm.
Twitch. Why am I live on Twitch right now? We should just be live on YouTube. Like that's
I don't know, Josh. I don't know why we're anywhere or what we're doing or why or when, but we are here.
We're content. So
we are
content, like whatever, right? Like
look at us. We are content.
We are content.
We are content.
Yay!
I am content.
So we had I have to say, we're talking about Hellraiser that just came out last week today, but God, there's been a fucking shit ton of content, horror content specifically, over the last week. I mean, since we talked last, we had Werewolf by Night come out. We had Hellraiser, obviously. We had the Midnight Club, which I haven't even touched yet. All this fucking content, and there's other stuff on fucking on Shudder that's been like really, really high praised, like heavily praised. And it's just like, how the fuck is there this much content? And we're not even done with it, because Terrifier 2 was going solid all weekend also.
So do you think they're going to get a wider release, or they're not going to VOD it quick?
They extended it to this weekend. Like, so this weekend they're doing Terrifier 2 again, and at theaters, it seems like, and they're trying to get enough money out of it to like do it for a third week. But like Terrifier 2 is also odd, because I think that the film was crowdfunded, if I'm correct, because everyone loved.
I know it's an indie, and
yeah,
it
it's
was
not
made
rated
cheap.
and all that stuff. But yeah, it was. Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was crowdfunded.
That's awesome. That is the type of like success stories, especially in the horror genre, like super niche down, like has like an amazing one-off slasher character that is already in icon type like stages, and it's a brand new indie. Like to hear all those things stack, and then it also dethrones Maverick from the top 5, the movie to do it. Like, come on. Like, that's such huge accolades for this movie that I definitely still want to check out when we all can. I want to make sure that that's our double feature, because I double featured this week because like we said before, I hadn't seen Hellraiser, the original. So I made sure before I watched this one, I put on the original and then this one, and made it the Grindhouse night. And I did this all night when I was watching it. I was just like, I don't know why.
You look like
you were channeling the BDSM from the movie.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
very much. I mean, there was a lot of BDSM in both these films, but the new one I think has more of a fleshy appeal than leather appeal. But we were talking about Terrifier 2 real quick there. Did you see that the guy who plays Art the Clown is also playing the Grinch in the Grinch slasher?
Oh yeah, the slasher, Grinchy slash.
So somebody was talking to me about that. I did not look it up, and I was like, they're not going to make a Grinch slasher movie. You must be thinking of something else. Apparently they are, and I was just wrong.
It's coming out in December. It's already it's filmed and coming out this December.
I'm ready for the Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah. We gotta check that one out for the show too. Like all these ones that it's like they're doing it, just you attach or
public
get
domain.
some, like that public domain stuff, and then it automatically has an audience regardless of people that are like, this is so nutty and zany that I have to check it out, because like of course
it's name recognition, man, and especially like you get. I think from everything I've seen from the Winnie the Pooh movie, that it looks like it reminds me of the Sharks of the Corn with that
totally
CG blood and shit, like, which drives me crazy. But I'm hoping that it's at least watchable, because like I didn't know what to stream the other night on stream, so we just chatted for like 3 hours, and for like we started talking about or watching the best fight scenes from Samurai Cop. Have you seen Samurai Cop?
What? No.
It's a real bad like B action movie from the like late 80s, early 90s, and
91.
the guy basically he had this mullet, this real terrific mullet.
I've seen that poster before.
And they decided it wasn't violent enough, so they needed reshoots. But like then half this movie, he's wearing this horrible wig from the reshoots. It's kind of similar to the whole like Henry Cavill mustache, like, you know.
Love it.
And it is fucking hysterical. And then they made a sequel like years later, like 30 years later, and the sequel's bad guy is Tommy Wiseau. And that we were just watching clips of Tommy Wiseau's like like monologues, which are so bad that they're amazing.
Nice.
I've never watched this, and this looks fabulous.
Have you seen The Room?
I have not seen The Room.
Oh, it's so bad, but
I know a lot of it.
So good. It is.
It's something to watch with people that have seen it, and like, because that's what the movie becomes. It's like it's almost like you can't just watch it by yourself. You have to like have someone that's seen it that is like forcing you to watch it because they don't want to watch it again. They want to watch you watch it because it's all
like
about
Anchorman.
that.
That's how I feel about Anchorman.
You know, there's a real look. This is my movie that I did this with horror wise was Midsummer, and I watched it with this guy, and like I just watched him the whole time when all the crazy shit happened. So it's kind of like that, but with like bad movies where you're just like waiting for people to like fall in love with these really shitty things because it's so entertaining, but they're like you know that these people are gonna lose their goddamn minds because it's fucking bonkers. And just like doesn't make any sense. It's that kind of stuff. We talked about like way long ago. We talked about The Fanatic with John Travolta, which is still I think one of my favorite movies we've ever done on the show, even though it is so incredibly bad that that movie is literally up there with The Room with how bad it was, Josh. And man, like, you know, like this is so rewatchable because of how fucking terrible it is, and The Fanatic is up there. And I talk about that stupid fucking movie all the time because I find it so insane.
Yes.
So yep.
It's just it's fun. It's fun. That's it.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. So how much?
How
much? No, I'm saying how much of this new shit have you guys watched? Like, there's so much at it. Like, I know, King, you were very what?
What new shit?
All the new movies that I'm just referencing, like that have come out, like the Werewolf by Night. This obviously we talked about.
There's too much.
Midnight Club.
Did you watch Midnight Club?
Not yet. I have been so god dang busy. Literally watched this, just for anybody listening. Literally watched this. I thought it was an hour and a half. Turns out it was 2 hours. Watched it, started it at 6:15 and was supposed to be here at 8, but I made it. But like literally that's how it's just been banging, like busy. So, but I'm going to start Midnight Club tomorrow for sure.
But there's also like Grim Cuddy just came out.
Yeah, that looks good too.
Yeah, like the big, huge freaking face. Like, I don't know. I don't know what
it's about. I don't.
But it's a creepy looking face. And that looks cool to me.
I also saw, and you'll be excited about this, Ken, Barbarian's going to be on HBO Max at the end of the month. So like, yeah, so you don't have to wait too much longer. So it'll be out there. So
I have HBO Max. I think
the director liked my poster on Twitter.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, just like randomly out of the blue, all of a sudden I was like, wait a second, huh? That's the director.
Dude, that's so fucking dope. That's so
everyone go follow Josh on Twitter.
Your Manny poster. Did you?
It's my favorite one. Yeah, so awesome. I printed it and did the frame.
That's cool.
Dude, that's fucking dope. That is dope.
Wait. I gotta do it full screen. There we go. Yeah. Oh, you can't see shit. It's just glare. Well, whatever. There it is.
We'll tweet it out. But Josh came up with the best marketing idea of all time today.
Yeah.
And he wants to make shorts with the moose on them. So we'll have moose knuckle shorts.
So like, because I was like, like moose shorts. He's going to be a moose wearing shorts with moose on it, but it's also going to have a moose knuckle. So it's too good not to do it. And I was just toying around because I said as soon as I had access to the YouTube channel, because for this, the first 100 episodes essentially, or before that, I was just like, yeah, whatever. And we didn't do all of them, I don't think. But I was like, yeah, I have a few ideas once I have access. And then I didn't have time. Like everything just like, so today, because I had the day off and I was home, I was just working on this Hellraiser poster. I was like, And I just went in and like cut 2 moose shorts and they did really well. So I'm like, ah, fuck, I knew that was gonna happen. Why the hell, like, haven't I done this yet? So, we're gonna make more content, maybe have like a segment in the show that we have like purposeful 15-second segments for people to like say something that they want for a moose short or something.
Moose. I mean, what can Rod do that's crazy for 5 seconds?
Well, that
Five.
those fun things and stupid things will be cut regardless because that's what happened. But like to have an actual like maybe 15-second like your moose short review or something at the end, like your
Yeah.
like something like that. So we have like a 15-second review of Hellraiser type thing.
That's a really good idea.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, yeah, there's it's so much
I'm always
content
coming up with stuff.
where your brain is way better at that shit than mine, man. Mine
I'm
is
in
like
advertising.
mine's like, can you like post a picture of like your wiener on the internet and then okay, that's all you need to do. I don't know how to advertise this shit.
Just
I've
get
never
your
been
dog.
to
I already got more doggy clips for our next short. So
Yeah.
we're
Gizmo
golden
appeared
there.
before Continue. Well, Continue was finishing up Hellraiser. He appeared to cause trouble.
And get us more views.
Exactly. Did either one of you guys check out Werewolf by Night then?
No.
I liked it, man. It was like less than an hour, all black and white, like well not mostly black and white, with just cool, like old school Universal vibes. Pretty fucking violent. I thought it was dope. So
Isn't it a Disney Plus show?
It's a Marvel show. I mean, a Marvel like short. They call it a Marvel feature. It's like a little bit less than an hour, so it's kind of like lines up with like the
52 minutes.
the Zoom meeting movie that we
No
talked about.
way. Really?
Yeah.
I just saw the poster. I literally this is the first time I'm actually clicking through to see more about it and hearing about it from you. So
Yeah.
knowing all of that now gets me way more pumped to actually see it because they're doing it more actual PG-13. And I can't wait for Marvel to actually cross that road. Like now that Disney owns it, I mean, and actually do some R-rated shit, like with Fox and with other shit.
I mean, we're already seeing it. I mean, Prey is the first real example of that. Of like the Disney comes in and buys Fox and then lets Prey
do the thing.
get made. It was all like Predator was a Fox
Massive success
property.
for them too. Like
Yeah.
massive success.
Prey was pretty good.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun and just cool that they did so well with it. So yeah, Werewolf. It has like blood splatter. It kind of, you know how like Kill Bill does the whole like one the bride versus the 99 or whatever. Like it's the kind of thing like that where you can show more blood splatter and shit when it's in black and white. The acting is fucking dope. They kind of like all cheese it up a little bit, like 80s, not 80s, but like, you know, B style from like back in the 30s, kind of like, you know, we're in the Mummy. And dude, Mummy, that original Mummy movie is not an easy watch these days. It's
Which
very,
one?
very, the one with Boris Karloff and shit like that from the 30s.
The original to me is Brendan Fraser.
Brendan Fraser is a pimp. I love
those movies. Other than Scorpion
I
King,
agree.
and like they're just
Yep.
so fun. They really put him on the map, and he was like in his prime in those movies too. Like all of them were. It was such a like fun time at the movies, and I was at like an age where I was so like I don't know, like
all two of them,
impressionable.
because there's only two fun Mummy movies. Because if you saw that one with Jet Li, and we're not going to even mention the Tom Cruise Mummy movie because holy shit, Batman, that is literally a top 5 worst movie I've ever seen in the theater.
It's because
Literally
Warner Brothers was like, we have this zany idea. No one's ever done it before. We're going to make a cinematic universe, but
Just
we're
like
going to put it on the
what?
shoulders of Tom Cruise running. And that's all we're going to do. Like nothing else matters. Just Tom Cruise run because people love it. And then we're going to put like 8 other movies on your shoulder as you run.
Yeah.
So,
and we'll include Russell Crowe fighting around the world with Russell Crowe as Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. So all these things happen.
I did not see any of these.
Oh, it's real bad. It is real bad. It is the Tom Hanks mummy or the Tom Cruise mummy it commits my number one sin, the sin that will make me hate you more than anything. It's boring. I see this all the time. It was bad for the first 2/3, but it was entertaining bad. The last third, where they decided they were going to have a cinematic universe, like Josh said, you just start going, "Oh my god!"
It was so forced down your throat too. Like you felt it. Yeah, it didn't feel genuine or thought out or like. But with that being said, this whole like fourth whatever bullshit that Marvel's doing right now feels just like. Just content. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Content.
Like, I am like a big Marvel fan of the movies. I'm not like super big into comics, so whatever, that's fine. But I feel the exact same way. Yeah. I feel like they hit their peak and they were like, what can we do to keep this going? I know, let's pull out some of these other characters that probably people absolutely love, just maybe less people, and we'll make other people love them and then create this whole secondary thing. But I'm like, no, I don't like, I mean, hopefully I'll fall in love with them. But I mean,
yeah,
I don't know. I think it's just content.
But Shang-Chi came out and was actually good. Like, cause they were doing the thing where they're like, we don't know, we're going to take a risk and kind of go all in and do this thing with someone that isn't known, doesn't have like whatever. He's from my friend's show in Canada, Kim's Convenience, and he killed it. And then Shang-Chi was fucking amazing. And he's my new favorite like Marvel character because he brings it. And it was also like a fun Marvel movie that had more kind of going on, like less about like the pew pew and more about like actual like combat.
Kung Fu, dude.
Yeah.
It's fucking Kung Fu. I know Kung Fu. I'm doing some Neo in the Matrix. Dude, they still need the time. They've been talking for years and years and years, and they need to make it happen. Keanu Reeves as Ghost Rider. I need it.
But he's coming back as Constantine, so
yeah. I hope I love that first one, even if it's a little hokey. But
I loved it, dude. Yes, there's so many like heavy hitting moments in that movie that like I still remember, and like I don't think they do that as much anymore.
I really like the show for the 5 seconds it was on. Like the whole cool like necromancy and all that shit that like Constantine is a cool fucking character. Like
there was a show.
There was a DC show, like the Arrowverse kind of show, but
where
they only went for like one season. It was on CW back in like years ago.
Oh yeah.
I would love to see more Ghost Rider.
Ghost Rider is the one that they needed, that they've been talking about. Obviously, the X-Men are coming here. We just heard that Wolverine's coming back for Deadpool 3. And I love it. The whole Deadpool 3 thing, I didn't realize that TJ Miller was a piece of shit, but I guess he apparently is, and isn't going to be
100%.
I didn't know that. I didn't hear that before.
Like he left because he was doing really well on the Silicon Valley show. And he was like one of the main draws to the show as well. And he was just like, fuck you, I'm a movie star now, and just pieced out. And they just like, the way they wrote his character off was him essentially doing that, because that's what he did. He's just like, yeah, I'm going over here. And then they're like, yeah, he got lost and he's not coming back. Like, and then his career didn't do well because he was an asshole and he was like an arrogant piece of shit.
Like assault someone or something like that too, or like got all weird. I don't know. It sounded like, I don't know, he was a complete piece of shit. I'm like, eh. But yeah, so there's a lot of it. They're bringing all this stuff back, and no, don't like him. Don't like him at all. Fuck you, TJ Miller. Fuck you.
Like, there's like a whole article of him bashing Ryan Reynolds too. I was just looking it up, like hardcore trashing him, and I'm like,
that was what got my attention. And like, yeah, it was like I saw people tweeting out an article about, would you work with Ryan Reynolds again? No, he hates me for some reason. Well, maybe because you're a piece of shit. Maybe Ryan Reynolds.
You don't see TJ on anything, but Ryan Reynolds, He has his own.
Exactly.
Have you any of you seen the Welcome to Wrexham? I've been watching it and it's been really fun watch. The
No, him and the guy from It's Always Sunny own a soccer team, right? Is
Yeah, Rob McElhenney.
okay. Yeah, I have not watched that. It's on my list, but I have not. I don't have enough time to watch the horror stuff I want to watch, let alone. So
Yeah, I've been watching that and not all the horror that's come out, but there's all of October and whatever.
Oh,
Tomorrow I might be going to see Clerks 3 in theaters, even though it comes out like
Ah.
on demand, like on the 14th. But it's one of those
Oh,
things.
does it?
Like apparently, I just saw a post. I think it comes out on the 14th. So there's too much content, and it's my birthday tomorrow, and I just feel like happy birthday, and all this other stuff. I don't even know if I can actually talk about it, but I'm going to be doing a lot more posters for legitimate shit, real movies. So I'm excited, man.
real movies for real poop. Mr. Hanky and all the sequels. Josh is Canadian, guys. He is. Okay. Okay. We've hit our ADHD period and catching up.
I don't know.
I mean, every second here is ADHD period, but today we're going to come together and talk about 2022's Hellraiser. And
together
right now, over me.
Sorry.
And I'm going to read the synopsis. A take on Clive Barker's 1987 horror classic, where a young woman struggling with addiction comes into possession of an ancient puzzle box, unaware that its purpose is to summon the Cenobites. Okay.
Cenobites!
I want to make something very, very clear. Very, very, very clear. If you don't think that Hellraiser is queer horror, you are a very silly person, and you need to go back and check everything out because Clive Barker's very gay. This movie, the original, was so BDSM and very gay and everything else and wonderful, and I love it. And so fuck you if you're hating on anybody for being.
I think it's just very sexually forward, not necessarily like in the gay zone, but more just like very sexually present.
I know, but people who are very like weird in the right wing of things these days are very upset that this movie is what it is, including the trans woman playing Pinhead and everything like that. I believe she's trans, but
there was a few decisions. Well, what, because her brother's gay and there's actual like in bed like hanging out scenes and stuff. Like
I don't know.
I honestly like if any movie or like vessel for a progressive movement could withstand and like actually make sense, it would be this movie. Like I don't understand. Well, no, it's the same people that saw the Little Mermaid trailer and lost their fucking minds because they don't.
Yep.
They don't. They're just, they are who they are. So whatever.
They're hateful sons of bitches. That's what they are. They are hateful bigots. Bigots who can blow my ass after eating Taco Bell for 3 days. Okay, Josh, I have to say, okay, I need your starting off opinion here.
Okay.
How you watched the original before comparing this. What did you think of the movie of What a Woman Will Do for Good Dick? I mean, what did you think?
Like, that's okay. It's kind of interesting though. I understand because you kind of brought it up last week too, about it being like there's more story to it, right? Like, but like, I don't have the nostalgia kick that everyone else has. It's a movie that came out in like 87 or something like that. So I'm way behind on seeing it, and seeing it from fresh eyes in 2022. It was just, I overly saw the clunkiness factor of the movie, in its like, it's an 80s movie. You gotta like give it some. I had to like be a little softer in my review and my approach to watching it because of the time period that it was made in. All those things that if I saw it like back when I was a kid or something, it wouldn't have, been a thing. But in first watch now, the day before my 37th birthday, I'm like, man, there's a lot of like clunkiness to this movie. And what there's a lot of holes in like the reasoning why anyone would actually like come through or continue to go through with what they're going through with for this type of stuff. It was a little like stretched a little thin for the reasonings why they did anything. Like he bought the box at the beginning, but fucking why? Like why?
I mean, are you talking about the original or
Yes, I'm talking about the original. I have not even
Okay.
talked about
Yeah.
the this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first one, the box is just so originally the Cenobites and everything, Pinhead were not they were the background noise. They were the instruments of terror provided by the wife, who is the real villain in the original Hellraiser. She lures innocent gentlemen who just want to get their dick wet up into this house and then beats them to death with a hammer so she could get that good dick again. She really wants that good dick. Frank slings the best.
I just love how she's like, she's coming into the house. She's like, oh, fuck, this place is disgusting. And then finds the box of her or the guy's brother, like fucking some other chick. And she's like, oh, yeah, this is the place. Like, I'm like, now she's okay with staying here. And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. He must have had really good dick. I don't know. Like
he had the best dick, Josh. It was so dick that she killed. It was such good dick. She killed like 8 people with it, like just to get that. Get his
she
like
was
skeleton
possessed by the penis.
Possessed by the dick. So, a couple things. This was the first. It was the first film that Clive Barker ever directed. He's only directed like 2 films. Hellraiser and Nightbreed, and I believe he directed Hellraiser.
Didn't he do Candyman too?
No, he directed his only 2 or his 3 movies. He did Lord of Illusions also. He directed Hellraiser, Nightbreed, and Lord of Illusions. He might have had something to do with a short story. He wrote Candyman back then, but he had, I think someone had bought the rights to one of his other movies. It was like Clive had Rex or something Rex. It was some weird movie of his, like one of his stories, and he was so fucking pissed off about how it turned out that he said, "I'm not. You can have it if I can direct it." And he went to direct it. He directed a couple of shorts before this, a short called Salome, a short called The Forbidden, and then he did Hellraiser. So a lot of you things you're talking about, Josh, are probably things that from a filmmaker's eye you caught up of a guy who like was learning how to be a director. Still, okay. I think there's a lot
that honestly makes a little more sense now that you say that, because it was clunky. Is the nice way of putting it.
There's a lot in that film I really like. The special effects with Frank and
100%.
like and like the reverse melting or the guy coming back and shit like that. Like
except for how long it was on screen. I was like, I don't. It's again coming from 2022. We have ADD. Like everyone has fucking ADD now. But this show and all 3 of us in particular, it's like. And I was like, why has this been reanimating for like, it feels like this has been on screen for like 20 minutes. Like, what the hell is going on?
But it's another one of those things where it like was a film that was like it kind of similar to Friday the 13th, where you start with one thing and you introduce Jason, and in this case, you introduce the Cenobites and Pinhead, and they become the attraction of everything. And then
they look so metal, and I love how just like,
dude, they're so good. In that film, it's wonderful, and it was like, I was like, oh, they pulled the Chatterer back to fuck with him in the 2022 version. So, but that film is, and I think the second one holds up mostly. It goes off the rails in the third act, like completely, and like the finances and whatnot are supposedly what happened. But those first 2 movies are completely watchable, and then it's the biggest collage of directed DVD. I think they put the first 3, maybe 4 in theaters, but I think it was only 3, and then like the rest was like the next 6 films or something, or direct to DVD things. So this is the first like original Hellraiser movie in a long time that wasn't, just to keep the.
But that's what they're doing. They're taking like, and I love that scene because I just rewatched the new Scream with my nieces, and it's like, what the fuck? This is like, they reference Stab 8. It's just like, just call it fucking Stab 8. Why is it called Stab again? And it's like Scream just did that. Now Hellraiser just did that. It's Hellraiser like 8, but it's just Hellraiser again. And it's like, this is when everything just got fuck off. Like now we're starting from scratch again. We're Hellraiser again. It's so meta that this is just happening. But I like
it's super meta. I have to say, what was like, okay, first you guys go first because you neither, I mean, Ken, you could go first. You had never watched Hellraiser before this. What was your initial thought?
Did you watch the other one? Did you do the double feature? Okay. Well, what did you think of this then?
This one, I thought it was something like not in a bad way, not in a good way. I love puzzle boxes personally. We were talking about The Room briefly, but there's a game franchise called The Room and it's all puzzle boxes and you're like in the box and playing with the box. So I was really excited when I first saw it because I was like, oh, this is going to be really cool. And then it just kind of like felt a little discombobulated, if that makes any sense. It felt like, okay, like you guys had mentioned too, like we've got this item. We kind of get what it does, but not really. But yet here we are still dicking around with it. And like, is it a draw? Like, is she drawn to it? I mean, I understand the whole reasoning why she's messing with it, but it was not what I expected. It was, I don't know. But like also reading stuff about it because I hadn't seen the original. It looks like if I would watch the original, this one would be even better. So that's what I've gathered.
It's different because the why I kept talking about that, like the original is very, very sexual as a film, right? It's very like what a woman would do for the good dick, as we keep saying. But like,
I think it's because I'm a dad. Anytime anyone says "come to daddy," I'm just like, bleh, bleh. I don't like it.
I hate step porn and come to daddy and like all that stuff. Is just like, it throws me off. And I think it might because there's that segment of America, especially, I mean, the world, but like it's the people that like grew up with like, step parents and all this, step brothers and sisters. I didn't grow up. I just had my brother and sister, my sisters now. And it's like that I understand what is happening and all that shit is just like, not gross, but in my mind, it goes gross automatically. And I'm going, no, don't want any part of this. But that
was the most off-putting part of the first movie for sure. Like there's skin being ripped off and he just says, "Come to daddy." And I'm like, bleh, bleh. Fuck.
It's that first film is like about desire, kind of, right? Like what desire will do for someone, like, or like fucked up love will do to a person, what they will do to keep it, right? This one's way more about addiction, right? You have a main character that the current one is about addiction. You have a character who was just 6 months sober.
It reminded me of the Evil Dead remake. Like that's what they made it about. And it almost like grounds it more in like, it gives it more stakes and more like reason why those people might be in this like situation or something, which.
Well, I think it also brings it to this grouping, this generation, this age, because I think that we relate more to certain types of addiction. So since she was like addicted to what I figure and what I understood was pills, like that's a huge thing right now as far as addiction. I think they did a good job with that as far as grounding it because it makes sense.
Yeah, you have a reasonable way to figure out why they build up that this character is a complete fuck up at the beginning, right? Like it's like, even with like her brother doesn't trust her because she used to be an addict. He doesn't trust her taste in men because this guy, rightfully so. we have a we
I
have
love
a
how the kind of like, because you as like an audience are like, she's the main antagonist or protagonist rather, and everyone is like really annoying. It's like up to here. There's no like, there's zero trust. It's like setting her up for failure because they just assume she's already going to fail or already has failed. And even though she's not, and we know it as an audience, it's like super annoying to watch because she's like, no, what the fuck? Like,
Well,
oh,
they also do this weird kind of manipulative thing with their like they don't like really fill you in, and which is not manipulative but we were talking about Ken said like her addicted to pills. All they ever really say is that you went through a 12-step process, right? And she's drinking, so you kind of don't know if it was a booze thing, and you shouldn't trust her because she was drinking her whatever route, her her routines. You have. And then the pills, when she throws those pills down, and you're like, oh, okay, she's actually going to be clean. And then she's eating dirty pills off the street. And you're like, and
were those from her pocket or where did those come from?
It was from the back of her car. She had like a pill case in the back of her car and it was gold and it like flipped and she was like, oh, grabbed it.
I wasn't sure if she found it or if it was like she pulled it out when she was like leaving her apartment. Like that was the thing about the brother. I was like, why are you screaming at your junkie sister in the middle of the night to get out because you're mad at her? And it's like
but he almost like has an addiction to like saving her too. Like she kind of brings up and like the way and how like heightened he is all of the time. It's like he almost feeds off of that and needs that. And it's like this codependent relationship that they have, like intermesh.
Which are very easy to develop. And now that you mention it, that was a good display of it.
Yeah.
It was especially because their parents had died when they were like, she was younger, I think, right? They like had died in a car crash, did they say? Or dude, I've been watching so much random shit, but I thought whatever.
That was Batman.
I mean, Batman's
I'm
parents.
just kidding.
They also were killed by the Joker sometimes. It doesn't matter. But whatever. Like they were alone and someone died. Their parents died. We got mommy issues, okay? Daddy issues.
Ooh, daddy.
Oh, fuck. No! I just gotta say the leads lips they were
crazy.
They were so wow.
Beautiful.
I've never like I don't know. I was just like,
you know who she reminded me of actually? She reminded me of the chick from She-Hulk. She's got like the pretty curly hair and like coming out and also kind of reminded did my camera freeze?
Yeah.
Look, let's just watch.
She reminds me of the redheaded woman from Orange is the New Black who did what was the doll? The Russian doll movie, and she has like the curly hair that's like red. She reminded me of her.
I'm not sure. What? I don't know.
What?
Is Rod?
Yeah.
Oh, hey. So, hey, Rod, how's it going?
Dear Elgato Camlink, you are still broken.
Is it the Camlink that's the issue, or is it his?
No,
camera?
it's the OBS.
Oh, really? But
no, it's Elgato. It's the Elgato device.
Because I'm the one in charge of the OBS and the Stream Deck stuff. So
my brain just shut down there. Hi, welcome back.
Oh, look.
Oh no,
now we
don't hear
audio.
him.
Oh wow, Rod, you're doing great here today, bud. You're doing great.
Yesterday, I was like getting costumes to do shoots for OnlyFans at Spirit Halloween, and I almost bought a Killer Clowns from Outer Space costume, and I was like, and then the clown dick things would never end because there would be like shots of me as a killer clown from outer space.
Yes,
and with his cotton candy hanging out. And
why is this not a thing?
I told you back in early August that the Killer Clowns from Outer Space had stuff at Spirit Halloween.
Dude, I want that gun so bad. They have the fucking gun, and it's so. I don't know what I would do with it.
I just got told last week. I think I told you this, Rod. So all the Killer Clowns from Outer Space are coming to the Calgary Horror Con this year. I'm the like photographer for all the like celebrity photo ops and stuff. So there's going to be like 2 or 3 separate backdrops. One exclusively for the Killer Clowns. They're going to be doing like a group shot thing that I get to do, and then like one-offs. But then also the girl from Hereditary is coming, and she brings her own telephone pole with blood on it to take photos with. So there's going to be an extra setup just for her stuff with the telephone pole that I get to take as well. So I'm pumped for this year because that's
fucking awesome.
That's like bucket list shit, but I'm the one that gets to like produce it and stuff. So I'm stoked.
That's fucking dope. That is fucking dope. That man, I've seen pictures of that with her. Like, I think you sent them to me when you were showing me it, and I'm like, and it's like fucked up, and I love it. I love it.
It's so good. She's like, there's just a bloody bucket.
Yeah. Dude, I hope she brings the head around too. The head that they find on the side of the road. You could hold her head.
That'd be awesome.
That would be dope. That would be dope. Okay, I don't even know what the fuck I was talking about when my camera decided to freeze. But,
Hellraiser.
Hellraiser. Yeah, the I think we were being creepy about daddy and whatever, but daddy.
Okay.
Oh,
daddy. So Hellraiser, the movie, fuck. It was aesthetically though. I just got to say, this movie looked amazing. Like the color grade, the attention to detail on like the lighting and the camera movement, and just how like polished and like, I don't know, like it felt like a bigger, more expensive production than especially the first one. Watching that back to back and seeing the difference between the 2 productions was awesome. I agree 100% with Kin with the why, like what is there like a pull to this or whatever. I felt like there's a lot of like the reason they were continuing to go down the direction was just because of her addiction and blah 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 or whatever. But then they would get there and like question her and be like, we got to get out of here, and then she'd be like, no, we should stay because of this. And then like one minuscule thing would change and they're like, all right, let's go, fuck, we're out of here. It's just like, well, why didn't you just do that in the first place? So it was kind of like a little
we have a couple things, right? It was like we have the main character who is like she steals this box with her boyfriend. Riley, played by Odessa Azion, I think it's A''Zion, Azion. I don't know how to say her name, Riley, which they call her Rye half the movie. I'm like, you couldn't call it addict rye, like rye whiskey, but
I was thinking bread.
I was thinking whiskey because of the addict, but they steal this thing because the boyfriend convinces her. We learn that later on that he got paid basically to take them to steal this box. And then it's all because she opens the box. It doesn't fucking cut her because lucky.
Yeah, she was holding it. She was holding it like this. And the knife comes out like this.
And it didn't get her, and the box needs blood to activate. So it basically latched onto her at that point, and they decided that she was going to be like the prologue at the beginning where we had. All I can say is that dude looked like you took Robert Pattinson and hit him in the face with a ugly bat a couple of times, and he's trying to pick up a MILF at this like function, and he opens up the puzzle box the first time or completes it, and he gets torn apart, which I think the that one of the best parts was that the first scene where he's getting torn apart and they're just showing the rich dude the whole time, and you just see shit happening in the background. Like you don't see
you
what's
see
happening.
the chains and stuff. Like the chains
Yeah,
are. I like.
they do. It's
I
very
like this-
ominous, right?
Yeah, like there were the special effects in this were actually really well done. Like especially like the very last scene type thing
Yeah.
where they're like showing skin and whatever. Like it it looks good. Like it's a mix between the practical effects, like all the makeup and stuff that they would have to do for the
Yeah.
Cinnabites and all that stuff. It honestly made me I just wanted a Cinnabon so bad. I almost got one today, but I couldn't find a fucking Cinnabon. So it was like Cinnabites, Cinnabon. I need to a Cinnabon.
Josh, you know what? I think you're actually getting like weird third party horny because like, let's think about it. Cinnabon like has those things that look like they're covered in semen. So like maybe you were just really horny after it because of all the nipple play and everything like that. They there's a lot. I mean,
You're
you were
correct. You are
probably-
correct.
You were probably horny for not the original, but I mean, one of them made you horny.
It made me hungry.
So I think this is a film I think that I have like actually have the intention to go back to watch it a second time because I feel like it is there were expectations I had going into it that kind of might have derailed my following the movie process. Not like I understood everything, but like as so in the original Kin, the rules were a little bit different and they weren't as defined. Like in the first one, it was like you open the box and the Cenobites
What's
come
in
out.
the box?
But the box also was like helping this woman bring this her dead. She's married to this guy and she was fucking his brother and he gets killed by the box. And then she figures out because she kills some dude that if you get blood on the box, Frank comes back. And it was just like all that was happening. And this one, they do the whole set of rules and kind of you learn about like when they find the diary, like in like the second act about like.
There was a lot more like exposition scenes, like like very like every kind of exposition scene you've ever seen in any type of movie was just slapped in the like exact time that it would need to be in this movie. There was like a whole fucking mansion that like just helped tell the story for us. It was a little.
Did the mansion remind you guys of 13 Ghosts at all?
Yes.
It felt so much like 13 Ghosts when they first walked in, or when she first walked in, and everything's like shift. I was like, not shifting, but like the crates on the outside,
compartmentalizing it.
Yeah,
like the cube itself or something like that. That fucking skylight was awesome. That was like that's like rich people goals, like the type of things that now it's not going to be like the first thing you get, but like after you've gotten like a Ferrari and like a yacht, you're like, okay, I'm going to put a cool like skylight in the middle of my fucking thing. And it's funny because like this movie, like this end of Hellraiser 2 has the big they go on to the like that ship kind of thing like that they're on at the that comes down at the end of this one, and it also has like kind of where they make Cenobites in that one, kind of like we see with the doctor guy or whatever he is, the rich guy who gets turned into Cenobite at the very end of the film. And it reminded me of like that movie going off the chains at that part and going absolutely bonkers. But it also was weird because
the chains.
I mean, it's appropriate terminology for this, but it's funny because the doctor, he was like a psychologist or something, and that he got wrapped like with wire, just like they were wrapping the boyfriend at the end of that movie.
And 2 Chainz.
Not 2 Chainz. 2 Chainz is a rapper, Josh, and very different.
Yeah, you
very
said rapping.
WRAP, Josh. Rap, not RAP.
I know. You're saying all these puns and you don't even know you're being so punny, and it's.
I know. I'm too, Josh. I'm like thinking of words as they're coming out of my mouth. I'm not like thinking of these puns like Kin. I've been hanging around Kin a lot, and she does have a lot of puns. But yeah, it's
been hanging around like how they did with the chains in the movie. Okay, I'm sorry.
I mean, there's a lot of that, but
Oh fuck.
I think that I like this a lot. Don't get me wrong, but I felt like there was something missing, and I'm wondering if it's something just from what I was expecting, transitioning and changing, like and not. Its expectations can ruin like cinema, right? Like because you expect one thing and you get something else. But I don't. I did like.
Did
this
you
a
go
lot.
in with too much, you think?
I think that my background, and even though I haven't gone and God, did my camera freeze again? Fucking hell.
I will
feel
say
it-
personally, like from his point where he was going, I felt like they were trying to introduce this world. They didn't want to pull too much in from the past, at least it seems like they were trying to like, this is its own entity almost. But then again, I wouldn't know if there were any callbacks or anything, but it felt very like this is its own thing. This is what it is. Let us explain it to you because it was more difficult for others to grasp, maybe, or like, the other had so much more to it. This is a little bit less, if that makes any sense. I felt like, again, I haven't seen the other, so I didn't know any callbacks for it, but it definitely felt like
There was some pretty heavy-handed one,
Sure.
like not overly heavy-handed, but there was that like this is a remake, a requel, if you will, and it was a lot of fun to see the way I did, I think, because even in just like seeing some of the tweets that are out there now of people like just coming back, because this one I of watching them back to back, I really like this one a lot more than the original because of just the whole package as the package as a whole was a lot better crafted.
Smoother.
Yeah.
Smoother.
So
Yeah.
what?
It is. I mean, smoother, right? Because it's
Oh
like you're
yeah.
saying, like the production and the cameras and it. Also the first one's supposed to feel grimier, right? Like it feels like it's got that dirty house and the dirt, like the attic where like she's
But
killing.
also just like the misogyny that was happening because of the time
yeah.
period as well was just
Yeah.
ridiculous. Like it made me. That's what made me
Well-
way more uncomfortable. Just how like every female character was treated, and like it was all just very normal. Like when they're like carrying up the thing, and it's like, "Do you got any beer?" And then he's just like, "Well, I guess I'll fucking get it." I'm just like, "Oh my god!" Like this this
the
whole
best part
scene
about
is so stupid.
well, the best part about that is the misogyny.
Yeah.
And while you're doing this, it's the woman who's just fucking everyone up because like no, everyone's like, oh, she's just the housewife. Oh yeah, she's just the housewife that was fucking the house husband's brother. He died from a hell cube, and then used the hell cube to fucking like, bring him back. And it's like, nah, man, it's like. It's got that sexual aesthetic of everything. Like, I mean, the Cenobites obviously all kind of look like BDSM things, right? And you said, like,
But
you're
also
saying,
like Silent Hill BDSM
Mhm.
too. Like,
I mean,
but yeah,
the Hellraisers, the Cenobites had to have been an influence on Konami in that
100%.
original Silent Hill movie because it's that the nurses especially in all the early
Yes.
ones are like with the face pulled off and everything like that.
So dope. I love the aesthetic. Like this movie just
Yeah.
has like it, and in watching both of them back to back and how messed up the subject matter and like some of the images are, I was like, when did I stop? When did I become so desensitized? Because none of this is phasing me whatsoever. Is it just like this isn't tame, but it's also
No.
not phasing me whatsoever.
I
When did
felt
this
the
happen to me?
same way. Like, especially towards the end when like he's getting all wrapped up in the wire, I was like, this should be like triggering something in my brain that's like, no, stop, don't do that, be scared. But instead, I was like,
But that
Oh.
character kind of felt like a throwaway character, though. Like to me, like in
Yeah.
like what he was doing and what he was trying, it didn't land whatsoever. And when he was getting
Yeah.
fucked up at the end, I was just like, yeah, whatever, just get rid of him. Like he's in the
yeah,
way.
just finish it up. It's done. Yeah.
He was the ass piece of the brother. He was like the brother's boyfriend, right? And like you don't get much character development from him. Like most of the character development is from it's like still the boyfriend had more development than the female roommate who just said
Oh yeah, she just
things
was there.
and didn't say much most of the time, and then gets pulled off in the back hallway to get like murked by the rich guy who, man, that fucking reveal where he's got that the box like
That was pretty cool.
through him, yeah, and you like it's all it's doing is just giving it. He picked the one that was like sensation, which was a real dumb idea. I'm like, okay, if all the things that you could like, there was 6, and they're all like scams, right? They're all like, it's the whole like selling your soul to Satan thing, and like you're never like it's never going to work out for you basically. And if you make this deal with the Cenobites, they like, yeah, you're gonna get what they view as like amazing shit. It's like, yeah, but they're hell demons. Like they're from fucking like, they're you kind of get it at the end that they're all people who have either completed the box, which means they've all killed 6 people or kind of been directly or indirectly connected to killing 6 people.
That's the one thing I did like more about this one than the first one, because like you're saying, the rules in the first one is like she's going after her brother, like to reanimate this guy that has an amazing cock. Whereas this one, it felt like almost like what was happening in Smile. Like, oh, I look back and this has happened before. There's like a, this many people were affected by it before, and then now essentially that's how many people are going to be affected by it this time, unless we do the cliche thing and have some exposition scenes of us finding a way out. And it's like, what can we do?
The thing that like isn't completely unreasonable though. It's not like the first couple kills, obviously the brother disappears like while she's like fucked up on drugs, and because they pulled him in because he was like, they were like, okay, we didn't get her, but like it had that, you talking about that pole, Josh, like that pole of like whatever, and it was powerful enough that it could basically pick a victim and pull him in. And then they're trying to figure out what's happening, and they go find the assistant who pulled in ugly Robert Pattinson to get sucked in by the box, and she gets sucked in by the box.
I love how he's just ugly Robert Pattinson.
I mean, I don't know who else. I mean, what else do you want me to call him? Like Batman Jr.? I mean, whatever he is. But like,
we were talking about Batman.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Batman. And you have like, so after that, like
I'm Josh.
You are WRB. But you get the chick murked in the hallway.
Get out. This is a Batman channel now.
You get the Chatterer. He gets taken out by it. So it's like they learn real quick. I mean, not real quick, but they learn fast enough that like, yeah, you don't want to be fucking with this cube and like poking yourself and shit, because then it ends up being like when that chick comes out of the fucking hallway with the box in her back. I think I giggled about that because it was kind of ridiculous looking. But yeah, it was like, you're bleeding so bad. Oh, and there's a hell cube sticking out of your back that every time someone's, you get like touched by it. I don't think they were kind of stupid at the beginning, but like, I don't know. That was like, it all kind of like, if they weren't a little bit stupid, then you wouldn't have a movie because the girl would have never sold
one of those boxes now. Like it's a cool aesthetic. Like I really just want one. And I've seen like the amount of people that I follow that all of a sudden already have one now. They're just like, I'm just playing with my new toy. I'm just like, fuck. Like I said before, I do have this, but to my defense, I was a horror block subscriber, and it just came randomly. It's not like I went out of my way to acquire all these Pinhead things without seeing the movies. Now I've seen them. Now I can.
Yeah. I have to say though, one thing about the boyfriend that makes me go, what the fuck, after watching it, that he's like balls deep in her in the beginning, and he says, I love you. And then you learn later on that it's like he's being paid for all this shit. So either A, he's really bad at like getting invested with shit, or B, he did that just to like think like her to think he's in love with her or whatever. But
but that's the whole thing with we're we're seeing it through her eyes as well, and it's to throw
Yeah.
us as an audience off as well. It's just a little
Yeah.
more heavy-handed way of doing it, and, so the reveal is more then you start question like you're doing right now, you start questioning
Yeah.
all of the decisions the character made throughout the movie, and that's where, I don't know, like
That's one of those reasons why I said like going back and rewatching it would be an interesting thing because I would have a perspective on and seen it and that kind of stuff. It always helps like in movies like that. Like it's like when you've seen High Tension and you're like, you know what's happening the whole time.
that
Instead
movie
of
just affected me too much, I don't wanna watch it again. But then in the same time, when I'm thinking back to what Kin just, she brought up 13 Ghosts, especially the house compartmentalizing and trapping them, that
Yeah.
really is the part where I was like, "Hey, this is exactly like 13 Ghosts because all the doors closed and they're all stuck in certain parts and stuff." I
Dude,
loved that movie coming up. I would love to dive back into that to see if that holds up or not. Because anything with
yeah.
Matthew Lillard, he just
Mhm.
he's one of my favorites, and that movie, I just remember having so many, like, almost, like, iconic characters to me now of what just, like, glancing back in my head to, like, the things that I
Yeah.
do remember. It affected me in, like, a really, like, "Oh, this is awesome. This is, like, punk rock,
Yeah.
like, ghosty movie. I like it."
You know what you're reminding me? I think one of my favorite lines of the whole movie is the rich guy going, "You- this is a trap or whatever he yells at, like he's yelling at the fucking pinhead because he's like he built this thing just to his whole plan the whole time is to get them to come back to take this thing out of him because he's like he's got this thing on him where he's in agony like 24/7 with his hell cube.
When you
That's, like,
find out that those
him.
things spinning are his tendons, I was
Yeah.
like that part I was like and then they zoom up on it, like, spinning. I was like,
And he's like
"Oh,
he's
fuck,
like
that's
he's
nuts.
like
That's gnarly."
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's just like it looks like something out of like Final Destination meets like a Guillermo del Toro movie or something like that. Like it reminds me of a Chrono with the heart thing and all that stuff. But
Did you know that Guillermo del Toro directed Blade 2?
yep, yeah, I've
I
known
did.
that for a long time. Yeah, yeah, I love Blade 2, man.
I just love all the Blade. I see, that's the I hope the new Blade with Marvel being what it is now, it actually goes in the R-rated, and I
I
hope
hope
Wesley
so.
Snipes makes a cameo of some sort, like,
They
you
just
gotta pass the torch.
they had like a 90-page script that was garbage with 2 bad fights, and they're like just restarting over again. Yeah, yeah, he's not. The actor's not too happy about that.
They have
Yeah,
a logo.
and all you got me thinking about is the current season of What We Do in the Shadows, where they had the vampire nightclub, or they were
Yeah.
like, yeah, it was like they all she wanted was the blood sprinklers to work, and they don't work until like she tries to burn the place down. I love that show so much. I love it
But that's
so much.
But in talking about What We Do in the Shadows, that's Taika Waititi, like, doing his thing, and Marvel gave him too much money with the new Thor movie and said, "Yeah, do whatever," and he I because I'm, like I like watching like, special effects world and stuff, and, like, the amount of, like, uproar that is happening against Marvel because, like, movies back in the day used to use, like, 2 houses, and now they're using, like, 25, and they're putting special effects houses out of business and stuff for, like, making so many changes and not paying them for it and demand it, like, because 'cause they're too big. Taika Waititi was apparently, like, just terrible to work with because he doesn't know how to do special effects. He's not that type of director, but they've given
Yeah,
him so much money and power, and he's just like, "Yeah, whatever. I'm changing my mind." And he's like, "Whatever about it." But they're like, "That's gonna cost us, like, $80,000 just to change that one thing, and we have to take the hit on that. What the
yeah,
fuck?" Like,
yeah, yeah.
whatever.
The special effects houses were not. Yeah, they have insane deadlines. It seems like. Um,
So I wonder
man,
about, like, stuff like this too, like, because there's a lot of special effects, probably not a big budget, and but I guess horror movies, I don't know, like, it's not like a Marvel thing, so eh.
I'm trying to Google the budget of like what the estimated budget is, but it's always fucking hard to figure out what the fucking budget of these movies. I mean, we talked about fucking The Night House, right? It's the same director, and like and what he did with that film. Have you seen The Night House, Kim?
Not yet. No, I was just looking at some stuff about it because I was trying to find out
It's
stuff about the upcoming Blade.
It's so good. Night House is so good. It's a weird psychological like horror movie that is very like it's about grief really, but like
it's one of those elevated ones where it's double meaning and like
he wanted to,
but in a really nice good way.
He wanted to make that movie a Hellraiser movie. Like that was like his like pitch to make it a movie, and they're like, no, just make it like this. And then you can have, and then after that did so well, they let him do Hellraiser and did a really good fucking job, man. I have to say, like the Jamie Clayton as the priest, as they call her, man, she fucking killed it. Like she had that commanding presence, and like the scene where she pulled the fucking pin out of her head and like put it into his like
into the throat.
Yeah. It was a creepy vibe, man. And like a lot of the violence in this movie was very like you didn't see a lot of it, right? It was like a lot of off-screen violence, but I think a lot of that was to build up tension with the Cenobites and everything like that. Also, the only thing that was maybe a weird transition in this film for me was like when they transitioned the Cenobites from being like more ethereal, like, you know, like a mental kind of thing, until like full. It was kind of like bringing Freddy Krueger into the real world, right? Which it was like that they had that thing where it was like she was seeing him the whole like for like what the second act basically until they all showed up in the third act, and kind of reminded me of Smile Again, like Josh, where you like where the chick is seeing shit and then she's the only one who's seeing it, and then like eventually people start seeing it, you know? Yeah.
Whoop.
There's a browser source thing in front of my face, Josh, or next to my face.
What?
No! Don't. That's what all the people are here for, Josh, is my pretty face. My pretty face.
Are you sure?
What? I have to ask, so what, Ken, what did you think about the Cenobites as like entities in the film? Like their designs and where did you?
I liked the clicker a lot, just because I think he was a character that character design is used in so many different like games and movies, but like just I like that a lot.
Loved it.
I liked the one too whose skin was pulled and kind of like looked almost like a hood pulled up. Like that was really neat. I thought they were interesting. I like looking at it now. I do wish they had a little bit more. Is ferocity the right word? Some like a little bit more of a presence. Like they just felt either more of a presence or more of a background. Like they just felt like they were in a weird spot. But they definitely looked like very cool, very very neat. I liked them. They were very cool.
What's that?
I'm
randomly getting some beeping noise, and I don't.
I don't hear it. Yeah, that must be on your end, but that probably is going to transition through the audio. So
no, I don't have any desktop audio on, but I don't understand where it's coming from.
Is it coming from me?
No.
I was going to say it shouldn't be. I don't have anything running, but
I think that the original Cenobites were very much leather and flesh, right? With the accents of like metal, like Pinhead, right? But I think that these guys were more, they felt like flesh and metal. Like
that's what it said online. Like they wanted to go, they felt that like the BDSM leather thing at the time was very like edgy and in your face and like still kind of, you know, questionable. So then they wanted this one to be more like skin being that particular means of expression. So,
yeah. And they did a good job with that because they had like anywhere from like the woman who had like piercings. It looked like piercings all over her head, right? And like all that stuff. And then like obviously Pinhead herself. And everything like, I mean, and then using that like just removing from the body, which you see with the main character, or not the main character, the main antagonist at the very end when he ends up choosing power. Which is weird because they like let him choose twice, didn't they? They're like he got his one choice and then they basically let him re-roll it like 7 years later or whatever, but 6 years later, whatever it was.
That's what I was going to ask about because it seemed weird to me that he got to be like in on the kill count that she was putting together, kind of, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I didn't really understand how that worked. That
But
seemed very odd.
I think yes. Yes and no, because he still had needed 1 or 2 more for his own, and when he
No, he completed it.
No, yeah.
That's he
Did he?
chose. He chose.
Okay, well,
chose
then I totally saw that.
Yeah.
So 100%, that's what I was thinking, but then when he did something else and then it finally, like, unlocked, I felt like because he helped aid in, like, something else that it finally did it again or
No,
something. I don't know, but yeah, so
that was
then that rule was not set in
Yeah.
stone, did not make sense, so.
It was his chess thing, was his sensation thing when he chose sensation because he was so rich. He thought he would get pleasure, which was a real smart
like,
idea.
Just make it happen. Yeah.
Because I want to come 18 times an hour. Now let me come, and they're like, no, you get to.
And then he did anyways. He did anyways.
You get the pain cummies, the best kind of cummies, the pain cummies. But no, and so then he had it so like his whole thing was setting this up to get the girl to start the box and do all this stuff so that he could get them to come back and he could like get audience with God again.
Yeah,
so
totally.
So like, and then that was what was weird though, was like it kind of seemed like they were like, I wonder if they were supposed to be thanking him for helping like the whole thing kick off and then or I don't know if it was because she said she didn't want anything. Like it's I don't know. It doesn't completely. That's why I said maybe another viewing I would clear up a little bit of these things, or maybe they're just kind of like it's supposed to make you go, yeah, because it also seems like what Pinhead decides is relevant, like because Pinhead is seems like the right hand man of Satan or whatever in this, like, because God in this context seems like it's Satan, right? But you don't really ever truly know. They could have been from another dimension. They could be whatever from this.
It's almost like the Hellraiser, like Pinhead wasn't supposed to be as like iconic as he turned out to be, and then it became the thing, right? Because like Hellraiser, they were raising Frank back from the dead, and that's the thing. But Pinhead was just there looking so fucking metal that they're like, you're it.
That's the woman looking for the best dick in the world was the villain of that film. The Pinhead was just like a fucking utility for killing people, and it became like you said, so fucking metal that they go off and they do all this stuff. And
he was the lead singer.
Yep. Doug Bradley did it for a long time. And then, and then they were like just pumping out a couple of them at the end because like even Doug Bradley was like, these movies are way too garbage for me to even keep doing.
Yeah, but like he's on the circuit now, just touring it, right? So
yeah, I mean, he's been touring Pinhead for a long time. But yeah. I don't think this film is perfect by any chance, but I think that it is also has enough depth that it is. It was really, I thought it was well done. I thought there was a lot there, and it was like someone who hasn't had like those connections we talk about all the time to our childhood. And I didn't watch as many of these movies that I wanted to when I was a kid because my parents were like, oh, whatever. And so I think this original film I watched pretty early on and did leave a mark on me because it is so fucking dark and like metal and so like BDSM and dirty and sexual and like and erotic.
It's everything Rod is.
I mean, I can't deny it, Josh. I am all these things, but I think that they turned it out, and I think that like they developed a movie for a more modern age and someone who obviously respected the material and respected this universe. And I think they just, I don't know, maybe they. Maybe they cleaned it up a little too much. Maybe, I don't know. It's like maybe it's too clean for what this is supposed to be. Like where it's supposed to be dingy and like dirty and like that thing where like
a little bit. Like I feel like nowadays it just European movies have always been more sexual and able to be more sexual and stuff. Whereas American movies never were, but in the 80s, before the whole censor thing happened, whatever, they were more so. But then as soon as that happened, I feel like it's been a progressive downhill from there, and there hasn't been a good, like, especially now that going back to Disney again, now that Disney and more big studios own all the other studios, and it's being like Netflix, like is doing their thing. Everyone is. It's just like, I don't know. It's more like Disneyified, and that's what everyone is kind of more used to. And there's
Yeah.
way less. So when you dive into something that has its origins in that era of it being more acceptable, it's really not anymore. It's just not
Yeah.
there. It's not prevalent, and I don't think it's going to be, and it wouldn't be as accepted if it was, especially not going on to fucking, what was this, on Hulu or something? Like,
It's on
Mhm.
Hulu.
yeah, like I don't think Disney would allow it to be overly sexualized on Hulu.
Yeah. I I think that like Ken was talking about, they were talking about like trying to kind of diverge from that a little bit, like the original image. And it was, again, you had, I don't know how like into the like, gay bar scene Clive
Right.
Barker was in the 80s, but like, that's like nowadays when you do gay clubs in the 80s and movies, it's like a bunch of guys like, covered in leather and all that shit. And you have to go, well, I mean, it makes sense that where that Clive would have gotten these ideas and like it was.
Also, the priestess did say they wouldn't, take back the gift, they would exchange it, though.
Oh, did they?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay. So then that's where he chose power,
yeah.
and power was which made him a Cenobite. So like that was setting up for another movie with him coming back and causing some havoc. Um, that construction was like of him at the very end was like super. That was like probably the most hardcore scene in the whole movie, right? Where
Mhm.
like,
Yes,
open and
100%, and I love, like, I felt like that was the most actual Hellraiser scene of the
yeah,
movie, and it was the
yeah,
last fucking scene of the movie. I was like, "This is fucking metal and gnarly and looks, like,
yeah.
so good," and to end on that, it ended on, like, a super high note for me, so
Yeah.
I was
I
pumped.
I
And you
liked a
saw
lot.
that scene like 2 seconds before coming on here, so it's
Yeah.
really fresh with you.
I love whenever like I would never well, okay, I shouldn't say I would never. I love it when they do like how his eyes and Pinhead's eyes, like, they're black, like, and they put that in him while he's there. That was so cool.
Yeah.
I was very all about that.
Oh, yeah, totally, I love that.
Yeah, he's got the human eyes until like the very end, and then they like go to that like blackish thing, and it's just like,
They just
okay, his soul farts out of his eyeballs, and like
Like he still has the pupils are still
fuck.
the same, or not the pupil, whatever. This you know what I'm saying. Wow. Okay.
Iris.
Anyway,
The iris.
yeah, the iris is still the same color, but then
Yep.
the outer part is black.
Yeah. Yeah, you could see like I don't know if it was like the context or the aesthetics, like because like Pinhead, she gets the most like screen time of any of the things because she also is kind of like the mouthpiece of all of them. She's the one who kind of talks and kind of delivers the messages. The other ones are varying degrees. Like you're talking about the chattering guy, which I think was probably the most reused design after Pinhead. I really loved her design where they like took that metal into her throat and she's got like this, they look like seals like in her throat, which is
They
really
did a
cool.
good job. Like, aesthetically,
very-
this movie, like, art direction-wise was mwah, loved it.
Well, and think about it now too. Think about after you've seen the ending, how the other characters were made, like how you see their flesh being pulled away and like ripped off.
Yeah.
This is like, oh, okay, this is how this ends up like this. And it's like, I think that like it may have been cleaned up a little too much, like I said, but like I think there's a good. It made me happy. It was fun, like which is something that I was excited for after so many bad Hellraiser. I watched one of them that was like one of the last ones, if not the last one they did with a cop, and like it was real bad, and I giggled at it, but like
Was there a samurai cop, though?
no, there was no samurai cop. Not this time, Josh. Not this time.
Aw, man. Whatever.
But it just I think that it's that weird catch up of like also you take a 35-year gap in filmmaking and like the technology, and like you take a more experienced director this time and you take all this stuff and you take a little bit of money and it goes, they did a lot, and then CG obviously is like way easier to do all the stuff with the hooks and shit like that, and it might have been cleaned up too much, but I think that there's something in there that like it does feel like a more 2022 version of Hellraiser, right? It feels like that, like kind of what you would jolt 35 years into the future, like, and what would happen and what we have now. And I think it is we like you said again about addiction, right? And there's the addiction of like the world we live in and how it's, I mean, the rich guy is every billionaire in the world, right? Like never, he can't ever have enough. She can't ever have enough of like taking herself outside of herself, right? And and all these things, and it's just like I think that there's a message there, and I think there's a lot that's like really well done. I wonder if that like you might, it's a little too squeaky clean. It's like when you like you commit a crime and then you clean up the scene too much, right? Like there's like the evidence is that it's too clean is like how you prove that something weird happened here, right? Like there's too much bleach on the counter. There's too much like
I don't know.
scrub.
There's not enough murder moose on the screen.
God damn it, Josh. God damn it. Well, I'm glad that you guys like enjoyed it. Like, I mean, Ken, it sounds like
I'm just happy that I got to do this poster for it, though. Like, because that's the thing.
Fabulous.
Because if it's a fun movie with a fun character, and like I had fun watching this, like I didn't think, honestly, after watching the first, I was like, okay, I can see the things, but I didn't think I was gonna have as much fun watching the second one because I did the like back to back viewing of it, and I see why so many people like attach to these movies and the characters themselves. Like there's so much rich, like I don't know, just the aesthetic and the name. Like it's all so fucking metal. Like you don't get that often. And unlike right now, we did just get this at the same time in the same week with Terrifier, a new super metal looking clown movie, awesome character. I don't, you know, when was the last time you've seen like a new super iconic, you know, gonna stand the test of time type character like in the horror genre? Like you know, last one I can think of right now is like Ghostface now, but it's not
I
even
mean,
a character. It's like it's a whole bunch of different people playing one character.
I think one of the things that you could even kind of point to are like Victor Crowley in the Hatchet movies, and then those are even like kind of like out there. And then like, I mean, you and I both we love Psycho Goreman, but like it's like stuff that like has gotten franchises and like movie after movie after movie, right? Like we still are like most of these things besides Scream are from 80s movies, right? Hellraiser 87.
I guess
And
Jigsaw, yeah, Jigsaw.
Jigsaw in the early 2000s, yeah. But as we know, that's a whole weird.
But that's James Wan has the ability to just create. He's the one person that did make the cinematic universe actually work. He's like, horror cinematic universe? Yeah, whatever. I got it.
Yeah. Well, it's I think it's an interesting universe. I think I always think that the first two Hellraisers are worth a watch. Josh, I'd like to hear your opinion after the second one because it's almost a direct continuation of the first film.
I like when that happens too, because like when you start diving in, as much as I do love all the different spin-offs of like Nightmare on Elm Street movies and stuff, they're so different and they don't really tie in hardly at all to one another. But then if you talk about like the Halloween or Friday movies, they really don't at all. They're just like look what I got. I got the rights to this fucking movie. Like no one has that shit right now, but everyone had it in the fucking 80s and yeah, like
I mean, you look at things like I think that like the easiest example of all that is Halloween 4 and Halloween 5, where they like, oh, we're gonna do this thing where the little girl's the killer, like she's gonna be the next Michael Myers, and then they like a year later they come back with Halloween 5, which is not like they were like Michael Myers turns into Jason Voorhees in that film, but like in the no, she's just mute now. It's that kind of stuff like where you have like continuity because like you have different directors, different studios, all this stuff, like right, it's like it's impossible to get a hold of a fucking Friday like the only Friday the 13th box that has like all the movies in it is the one from Scream Factory, because they somehow managed to work that out. Like you can't get box sets of Halloween because of all the different distributors, or like they just did a like 1995 and on like Halloween release, like so it was like Halloween 6 and like after like that, and Jerry got to do some of the music on the Halloween Resurrection Blu-ray, which is awesome. But like it's hard because like all this stuff went all over the place, and Hellraiser feels kind of like that. And I mean Amityville, and there's like so much shit that's all over the place.
Oh,
but
there's
like
been some bad Amityville movies.
there's an Amityville shark movie, by the way. And when
It's probably better than some of the other ones.
but yeah, it's weird. But yeah, you built a universe, and yeah, it's hard to see because these characters don't stay as iconic. And if art stays around as well, then it'd be dope. But
okay, Kin, what's your 15-second review of this movie? The Moose Short review of this movie.
It was good. You should watch it. Probably should watch the original one first because I think it might give a little bit more insight. And I am very glad that I checked it out. The clicker guy is my favorite.
Rod, 15 seconds. Go.
it needs to be hornier. I need more daddy issues and more like how to kill people to get the best dick ever. What would a woman do for an orgasm? But in 2022, no, it was really good. Metal, skin, pinhead, good stuff.
I gotta say, I felt like this movie updated itself appropriately. Aesthetically looked amazing, but I agree with Rod. It needed a little more of the roots of what the original kind of brought to it with the more BDSM type stuff. And I felt like Hulu and Disney kind of squeaked it clean a little too much, but it was a fun time on the couch because Hulu, hey, horror movies.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Daddy.
No! No!
So next week is Halloween. Ken, we're probably gonna be like, Ken, come back. Okay, we'll work it out. I talked to Jerry about it months ago about him coming on and talk about it, but like his whole situation, like I said. So I'll let you know. But like, yeah, we're doing Halloween, which is out this weekend on Peacock and in theaters. So go see it in theaters or watch it on Peacock, whatever.
Whatever.
And Ken,
Do stuff.
Besides STD Hotel and Motel.com, where can everyone find you?
You can find me at twitch.tv/continue, KINTINUE, as well as Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Snapchat, whatever. It's everywhere. There's only a couple that are different, but just look up Continue. You'll find me.
Instagram. Yeah, Instagram's your random one that's different, right? I think.
Yeah, Instagram's my weird random one. And then also I'm on Fan House doing whatever the hell I'm doing over there. So yeah.
I know that feeling. Okay. We are murdermoose.com. Go follow us on YouTube where we have our YouTube shorts of us doing weird things for 15 seconds. And Gizmo for 3,000 views because Gizmo. We have, follow us on Instagram, follow us on YouTube, follow us on Twitter, and whatever. Everywhere. Murder Moose. I'm Ryder Scott Johnson everywhere.
Go to joshwrb.com. Look. My
poster. You get posters.
Yay!
Mandy poster. Josh, all your shit.
joshwrb.com. I'm at joshwrb everywhere. And someone just followed
you.
Hey.
Okay. Everybody, thank you for listening. We love you. Ken, you're awesome for coming on as always.
Thanks for having me.
And we will catch you guys next week for Halloween Ends. Bye.
Bye.